God showed us with the Chibi Yisera, with this extra measure of love, that He appreciates and celebrates the fact that we have that ability to be able to reinvent ourselves. Look into those lights tonight and dedicate yourself to reinvention. Good Erev Shabbos, everyone. Erev Shabbos, Pashas Mikeitz, Erev Shabbos, Chanukah. Just a quick thought about Chanukah. We know that we make two brachas on the Menorah. First bracha that we make on the actual mitzvah of lighting Chanukah lights, and the second bracha that we make is a bracha on the miracles. Shas nisim lavasena b'yom mehem b'zman hazeh. And He made miracles for our forefathers in the past at this particular time, b'zman hazeh. The truth is, if we look at this day, if we follow this day through history, not only were there miracles on this day, there was miracles on every single day. We would find that every single day of our existence, there have been miracles. There have been incredible miracles. And that really we should be making this bracha every single day. There are those people that don't say Tachanun. The reason they don't say Tachanun is because they say that we don't say Tachanun on a yard side of a gadol. And we'll print books if we have to show you that there's every single day of the year, there are yard sites. I used to get these things on the online that every month or every week even they would print who the yard sites were every single day of that week, so you don't have to say Tachanun. So if we're going to use that kind of principle of saying that when something amazing happens, so then it affects us, then something amazing happens every single day and it should affect us. And we should say this bracha on many occasions. At the very least, we should say it on all of our holidays. At the very least, we should say it on all of our significant days. Why is it that we say it specifically on Chanukah, and we say it about this particular miracle? There's a famous question that they ask about Chanukah, that why was it necessary for there to be a miracle at all? Because the truth is, we know that Tumah Hutra B'tzibur Tumah is permissible when the entire community is impure, and therefore they could have lit the menorah with whatever lights they wanted to light, with any kind of oil that they wanted to light with. I always joke around, they could have used Crisco oil, but it wouldn't have made a difference, because they weren't really doing the mitzvah as it was meant to be done in the temple, and if they were doing it, they could do it in impurity. And if that's the case, why do we need this kind of miracle? It wasn't a functional miracle. It wasn't that we needed a miracle in order to be able to make this happen. So why did we get this miracle? So the answer that's brought by many of the commentaries in various forms is because God wanted to send He wanted to show us a Chibi Yisera, an extra measure of love. What's the Chibi Yisera? Why an extra measure of love? What was going on here that we needed an extra measure of love? So, in Purim, we ask the question and we say that what did we do in order to deserve divine annihilation? That it was decreed against us that Haman was going to annihilate us and completely destroy us. What did we deserve to do that? We have to ask the same question really on Chanukah. What did we do to deserve all of these gezeros, all of these decrees? What did we do to deserve to have an exile while we were still in the land of Israel? Getting kicked out of the land of Israel, you could explain on one level, is understand why we get kicked out of the land of Israel. Why do we get to stay in the land of Israel and yet we lose our temple? What did we do in order to be able to deserve such a punishment? So the Bach, one of the commentaries on the Tur Shulchan Aruch, amongst others, explain that by Chanukah the Iker Gezerah was al shirashlu ba'avodah, that we became weak in the avodah, but we still did the temple service. We were still doing everything that we had to do externally, but the heart and soul of what we were doing were completely gone. That we had lost this great fire. That it was just fires that we were igniting in the temple and for the avodah, for the service, but there was no fire that was ignited inside of our hearts. Until Matisyahu Kohen Gadol, Chashmonai Bonov, stood up and said, Mila Hashem Elai. Who is for God? Who is not just for doing the temple service, who is not just for keeping going what we do, but for reigniting inside of ourselves that fire and that passion for the Torah that we keep and for the God that we love. And really what we were watching and what we were celebrating and the miracles that were happening were in recognition of the fact that we were doing tshuva. We weren't doing tshuva for not doing the avodah. We were doing tshuva for doing an empty avodah. And we poured in all of our passion and all of our love and all of our energy into saving the Jewish people, saving the Beis HaMikdash, reigniting the avodah. And when we came back into the Beis HaMikdash, that's the flag that we wanted to hoist, that we wanted to raise up. We wanted the Jewish world and the non-Jewish world to know that the fire of the Jew is back. We're not just Jewish on the outside. We're not just Jewish in name, but we are Jewish. We are God's people in our panemius, in our very essence, and our very insides. God wanted us to know that he accepted us back. And then not only did he accept us back, but very often when you come back, but the relationship is never the same. When two people have a fight, they have a tiff, they have something between them. Oh, they can come back, but there's always a little blockage, a little discomfort. God wanted us to know that there's no discomfort, that he is back and he's all in. And that's why he did the miracle. That's the Chiba Yisera. That's the additional measure of love that God wanted to show us. That he's back and he's all in, he's with everything. And we pushed ourselves and put our fire back inside. His fire is back inside also. And he made that miracle through fire, that we understand that it's not just avodah, but it's Eisha avodah. But it's the fire of avodah. It's the passion. It's the love. It's the energy. It's the enthusiasm. It's the zrizos that has to be involved. And God sent us that message that he's also that way. And that he also feels that way. And that's the reason why Chanukah has to span 2 months. There has to be a Rosh Chodesh in the middle of Chanukah. Because there has to be the reminder that how did we do this? We were mechadish ourselves. We were able to reinvent ourselves. We have the opportunity. God put into the teva, into the nature. We have the opportunity every month, every day. But we remind ourselves this of every month, that we have the ability to renew ourselves. We have the ability to reinvent ourselves. We can start over again. And that's what Chanukah is all about. Chanukah is about a group of people that were going down one direction and looked at it and said, not going to happen. We're switching directions. Mila Hashem Elai. Let's turn towards God. Let's move this in another place, in another way. And we have that ability to be able to turn things around. And when we turn things around, we're bigger and we're back bigger and better than we were before. And that's the message of Chanukah. The message of Chanukah, we look into those lights and we're reminded that we can do it. We've done it thousands of times. We've done it as individuals, and we can do it as a nation. We can turn ourselves around, and we can put the passion back into the coldness, back into what we do, back into the actions. We have that ability. And that's why this miracle is different than all other miracles, because this miracle reminds us that we can turn our lives around. On these days, God showed us with the Chiba Yisera, with this extra measure of love, that he appreciates and celebrates the fact that we have that ability to be able to reinvent ourselves. Look into those lights tonight and dedicate yourself to reinvention, to rekindling, reignition, starting the show all over again. We get knocked, we get knocked down, but we don't fall over. We people weeble. We people wobble, but we won't fall down. That's the motto of Chanukah. That if we put the fire back into it, we're not going to fall over. if we put the passion and we reignite our Avodas Hashem, we're not going to topple. We will continue to climb and to strengthen and to march forward until that moment of Geula Shlema, until that moment of complete and absolute redemption and complete reunification with the Ribono Shel Olam himself. Should have an illuminated Chanukah, a Chanukah where we regain our strength to rededicate ourselves with passion and with love. And we should feel that passion and love that comes back to us always from the Master of the Universe. Have a beautiful, awesome, and amazing Shabbos.